Hey everybody, welcome to the F-Bards Chronicles. This is my channel where I tell you the stories of two different groups of players who played through Lost Mine of Phandelver, run by yours truly. This is the summary of the third sessions along with some DM tips and tricks for new DMs who might want to run this adventure. While recording the previous video, I had realized that I never properly introduced you to the two groups, so here it is. This is the story of the Warhamsters. They have Turquoise, the Dragonborn Paladin, Ellie, Eloise Nimblethorpe Plumbottom, a gnome wizard, Krem, a tiefling cleric, and Keth, a half-orc rogue. My fiancée Hannah plays Ellie, our friends Remy, Ricky, and Dylan play Turquoise, Krem, and Keth respectively. Dylan is the only one who is experienced in D&D. All the others are new players. I believe for the other three, this is their first campaign ever, and they're doing such a fantastic job of role-playing that I'm constantly blown away. Their role-playing is so good to the point where they're coming up with amazing solutions to problems completely off-script, but in character. Stay tuned. Now, onto the story. If you remember, the Warhamsters had previously come to Phandelver and met Sister Gorail and had decided that they would take her quest. However, they first wanted to rescue their patron, Gundren Rockseeker, and his friend Sildar Hallwinter. They made their way to the Cragmaw hideout, which they had previously scouted out. The initial assault on the hideout was pretty bog-standard D&D, where they snuck up onto the goblin lookouts and got rid of them. They also ignored the wolves and continued into the cave. Unlike the Red Wedge Pact, this group did manage to sneak past the goblin guard on the wooden bridge in Cragmaw hideout. They rolled really high on their stealth, and the goblin never noticed them. As they were making their way through this hallway, they heard threats from the goblin leader Yimmick that if they come any closer, Yimmick would kill his hostage. Ellie, the gnome wizard, went into the cave and started parleying with Yimmick. Through some clever role-playing and persuasion cookies, yes, that's what they call them. They're just normal cookies, but well made. Yeah. The Warhamsters managed to make friends with the goblins. They learned that the goblins were bullied and harassed by Clarg the Bugbear and also by the hobgoblins in the Cragmaw castle. Yimmick and his goblin minions agreed to help the party. They didn't dare fight Clarg, but promised to look the other way as the party fights him. This was a huge success. The party had an exceedingly difficult fight with Clarg, his wolf, and two goblins that they couldn't turn. The difficulty of the fight was mainly due to some terrible rolls from the Warhamsters. Both Turquoise and Krem went down at one point, and that was a crisis. The cleric and the paladin were both unconscious, and everyone is panicking. The poor rogue tried to stabilize the cleric while the wizard started cleaning up. She killed a goblin with a ray of frost and managed to kill Clarg with a chromatic orb in 2 rounds. And the poor rogue failed both his medicine checks. It really came down to the wire as Krem, the cleric, succeeded 2 death saving throws and failed 2 death saving throws. The next roll would have been critical. Critical roll. But right before that, the wizard on her turn rolled a 14 on her medicine check and managed to stabilize Krem. On the rogue's turn, he managed to stabilize Turquoise and crisis was averted. Once they got the chance to get a long rest, they negotiated with the Cragmaw goblins. I don't remember who came up with the idea, but someone told Yimmick to go warn the other goblins in Cragmaw Castle. They were told that these heroic adventurers will come and free them from their oppressive leaders. So they sent them out into the night to warn the goblins in the Cragmaw Castle and see how that goes. This is where the session ended. I think there is something we should talk about. This was a session where the players did something clever and different. Instead of just fighting, they talked to the goblins and turned them to their side. If you are a new DM, this sort of behavior from your players can be terrifying. I remember on my first session, they tried to negotiate and pet some wolves, and I didn't let them, and to this day, I regret not letting them try and animal handle the wolves. I should have. Big mistake. So the point is, when things like this happen, the players are going off the script. The next fight will be easy and boring, and no one will have fun. That's only in the DM's head. Don't worry. The players will love that they came up with an idea, and it worked. If the next battle feels easy, they would know that they earned it. They will talk about how difficult it would have been if they hadn't done what they did. It will be awesome. I guess this is the fundamentals of sandbox versus railroad. Often I see people complain that having an adventure, set-piece encounters ready is railroading. I don't think that's true. Railroading would have been if you refuse to let the players talk to the goblins and turn them. It would be railroading if you say no because they are not doing what you expected them to do. Perfectly reasonable thing to do, but it was not on what you thought they might do. If you stop them from doing that, that's railroading. Let them go off the rails. Remember, you will only have to be on your toes for one half of a session. Power through this session. If it goes so wildly in a direction that you have nothing prepared, throw a nasty random encounter at them. The players will have fun in combat, and it will be cool wrapping up of that session. Before the next session, you have plenty of time to prepare whatever crazy direction your players decided to go. If you let your players follow through with their ideas, the ideas don't have to be successful. All you need to do is entertain their plans and let them play it out. Not in a million years will your players complain about railroading. That's it, guys. That's the video. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, that's all, folks.